So, like I said, we're gonna kind of dive in with the magic. We're gonna do the fun with friends and family first. This main atrium, this will be the first thing you see. You'll always, we always have you board into the main atrium on deck 3. This one's really special too because it's one of the biggest in our fleet. It's a part of the Dream class of ships, and these we just kind of went big, as big as we could, like larger than life it was what the feel of this ship is supposed to be, which is really cool. It's got a lot of stained glass, a lot of bright colors. There's a really great main atrium bar. I do wish I had my funnel cup because you can get a funnel cup here. It's quite fun. This will be open pretty much the entire duration of your cruise. You can get, obviously alcoholic beverages. You can get coffees, teas. You can get your sodas and everything like that from this bar. They also do a lot of different activities here. So you might have your formal night, might have a sort of like party here in the main atrium for you. You'll want to check your fun app or your when you first get on board, it's called your Carnival Hub app. That will actually give you every event that's happening around the cruise. And another cool thing about the Hub app is you can actually heart or favorite things that you like during each day, and your app will remind you about 15 minutes beforehand, hey, you liked this, would you like to go to this? It starts in 15 minutes, and then you can work your way over, because of course, as we know, these ships are quite large and it might take you some time to get to and from. But the main atrium will serve as your main hub for everything. You'll have live music, you'll have the bar. This is a great place if you are ever looking to just meet up as a group and then go somewhere. This is a great place to start too, because it has that bar area that you can hang out in. There's also shops on deck 4 and 5. And this one actually goes all the way up to deck 6, which is pretty cool. And you can actually look down through some of the midship to see the main atrium, which is also another kind of interesting aspect to it. You can kind of see that up above at the top where that main sort of glass structure is. Just off the atrium, though, you're going to have 2 spots that are kind of cool. One is this books and games library. And the only reason why we say it's cool is because we don't have these on any other ship. It's only on the Dream class of ships, which is kind of cool. So the books and games library, it's filled with obviously books and different board games that you can play. You can just, first come, first serve. You can join, show up, you just go through the doors. There's plenty of seating areas. If you wanted to play a board game, you could. Otherwise, you could pull a book off the shelf, give it a read. If you did, we usually allow you to bring the books to your room. You just have to give an attendant your sail and sign card information, just in case, so that it's almost like a book rental from a library, so to speak. The other place that'll be on this floor too, and my personal favorite bar on the ship, is going to be the Play It Again piano bar. I don't know if anyone here loves music or live music, but this is a great spot. So we actually keep the piano bar open until midnight. So it starts around 6 p.m. and it's open until midnight. They'll do different hours too, which is really fun. My personal favorite that we've been doing this year was the Elton John hour. It's great. I will say this is one of those places too where you can really kind of let loose and enjoy yourself. The pianist is probably going to ask people to sing just for fun as a group. Or even if you individually just wanted to sing a song and request it, you absolutely can. Like I said, it's a complete blast. When I went on my last cruise with my wife, we were definitely in the piano bar until midnight, absolute end of the time, because it was just so much fun. And what's cool is we do have that sort of traditional style piano bar seating where you can sit right on the bar around the piano, which is cool. The other one that's going to be off the atrium is going to be the escape bar. So this is kind of fun too. It's built to be a little bit like a speakeasy style. It's got these small LED screens that are going to show you the actual projections from the Lido deck, so of the sunsets. This is a smaller bar. It's more intimate. It does have a seating limit, so we do only allow certain people in at a time, kind of like that speakeasy feel. But another really cool place right off the main atrium. So you have all 3 of those, and those are some great spots to meet up, hang out, and have a good time. Now we'll kind of go through the rest of the ship and the entertainment spaces. So, and I mentioned before that we have the Hub app free wall, and you can use that Hub app to your liking, but also to allow you to figure out where things are happening around the ship. And so a big thing too, you'll always see showtimes in this Showtime lounge on your Hub app, or if you're more like me and kind of prefer to be off your phone during the duration of your cruise, we will actually slip you what's called the fun times every night right outside your door. So there's going to be like a little holder outside your door, and it's like your little newspaper for the day that's going to show you everything that's happening around the ship. Fun fact, actually, about 4 years ago, we tried to get rid of the fun times and go to completely wireless through the app. And we actually had so many guest complaints about it that we actually brought it back because people wanted the paper so badly, because I think it kind of gives you that release from technology. So that was just a little bit of a tangent there, but another chance to see all of the show times and everything like that for the day will be outside of your door on a piece of sort of the fun times, we call it. So like a little newspaper style article that's placed outside your door every day. But the Showtime Lounge, we have different shows. We're going to have Dear Future Husband on this one, which is a brand new show. This is where you'd have Deal or No Deal. This is also where you would have the Military Appreciation Gathering. So for us, on every single sailing, we have what's called the Military Appreciation Gathering. This is where it happens on the very final sea day of every sailing. Anyone can join. It's just a chance to honor and appreciate the different branches of the military. Also, we allow all the different branches of the military that are on the ship currently. So anyone who's active duty or retired to get up and speak about their time. Maybe they want to tell a story, or maybe they just want to say where they served and when they served. So it's a really cool experience. I've done it twice now. It's just a good way to, get a little acknowledgement in and really, see some of the people that might've been on the ship with you that have served in the military and hear some of their stories, which is very cool. More along the lines of the rest of the ship, where we get into where it's going to be the entertainment spaces, this is going to be a real big one to remember. So not just because it's a bar or anything like that, but the Red Frog Pub is a big one to remember, because this is where we'll host a lot of events on the ship if you're looking to do some of the fun entertainment stuff. You've got karaoke that happens here. This is where we might do certain trivias, as well as other smaller events that happen around the ship. And those can be, unique to the Magic. So sometimes I don't even know what might be happening that day. But again, if you check the Fun Times or your Hub app, that's where you'll find out, what's going on and where. If you are someone who wants to go to the bar and have a good time, or maybe if you want to have a beer, we do brew our own beers under the Red Frog Brewery. So we have a bunch that you can purchase that are actually brewed on board our ships, called the Red Frog Brewery. So we have a brewery on this ship as well. You could even sometimes ask if the brewmaster is in, and he might be able to give you a tour as well, which is really fun. But again, this one's really good because this is where you might have like live dancing to, different sort of musical groups, as well as the karaoke. And I will say one thing about Carnival. I'm not usually like a karaoke person, but it is like very, when you go on a Carnival cruise, I've never seen karaoke more full in my entire life. It is always, people are so willing to participate and have a great time. I felt so comfortable. I actually signed up for 2 songs, which was great. And it's a really good time. I really, think that this is another spot that you might want to, remember when you're going on this cruise as that sort of like entertainment hub for you. So always check in that app, what's going on at the Red Frog Pub, or even on your Fun Times, like I said, each night. What's interesting and unique about these ships, though, is on the Magic and its sisters, we actually built a lanai on the outside on both sides of Deck 5 that are attached to the Red Frog Pub. So you can come out. These are first come, first serve. You can just take a seat, enjoy this sort of breeze wherever you're at. Obviously, guys are going to be in the Caribbean, so it's going to be amazing breeze, amazing temperatures, especially in February. I think you're going to have an amazing time with the weather then. And what's kind of nice is this is just a nice spot to get outside in case you were looking for something more relaxing, maybe a little less noisy than what might be happening in the Red Frog Pub at the time. Sticking to the outdoor theme, though, we're going to go to like sort of the Lido deck space and the rest that's going on there. So this is that main pool. We do have 2 bars off of the pool, the Red Frog Rum Bar, which has 32 different styles of rum, types of rum. And then you have the Blue Iguana Tequila Bar. And then you have this main pool in the middle. This is where we'll do the dive-in movies, which are really fun. We lay out all the loungers kind of exactly as you see them here, and you can watch the movie under the stars. It usually happens quite late at night. Or you can even jump in the pool to watch the movie as well. We do have some of the Lido deck options open late too as well, and that will help for any snacks or anything like that during that dive-in movie, as we call it. But this again too will be kind of the hub of the Lido deck. So this would be very midship for you. So we also have a pool in the midship and a pool at the aft. The one we're looking at here is midship, and this is also where you'd find all of those amazing options we have, like Guy's Burgers. So if you didn't know before, we do have that partnership with Guy Fieri, which is really cool. And the Guy's Burgers are absolutely amazing. We'll kind of talk about that later, though. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Just off of the Lido deck pool, though, if you go forward, you're going to find the Waterworks. We have some pretty intense slides here for anyone who's a thrill seeker. We've got the ones that kind of drop you into that bowl-shaped, I want to say toilet bowl, but that seems so crude to say. But it's kind of like that bowl-shaped where you kind of spin around and then you drop through the middle. And then we have the sort of yellow and blue slide, which go through it as just a normal water slide. But also for the kids, though, you would have an infant splash pad and little water slides there. These are all first come, first serve. You can just show up. You do have to, wait in line, obviously, but you can just enjoy the water slides as much as you want. And they are very fun, but a little bit intense, if I have to admit. For those that are looking, though, for more of a relaxing environment, or this is where you might find me, I will say this too. Every time I join a cruise, the very first place I go is Serenity, because it's always quite empty and really relaxing. It also has its own bar as well for sodas, drinks, and some coffees and teas as well. So you can kind of see that right there. This one actually wraps all the way around the full forward of the ship on the highest deck. It has 2 jacuzzis, and all of these loungers are first come, first serve. You don't have to pay any extra for any of the loungers. You can also rent towels, and there are private bathrooms on this deck as well. This is a great space if you're just looking to read, get a little bit of maybe writing done. I know you guys are a writing club. I would actually like to hear more about that if I can later or after. And then, also if you just want to take, I don't know, a midday nap out in the sun, anything you want to do out here, this would be just an adult space. So you do have to be 21 and over because there is a bar. But it's a great space to get that relaxation in. And I just wanted to also highlight that and show you what that would look like. This is actually just one side of it. The other side, it kind of wraps around, and it has the exact same amount of day beds, loungers, and then another jacuzzi as well. So that's kind of those fun sort of entertainment spaces for you on board. Did we have any questions in the chat at the moment? I can't see the chat, so that's why.
Yes, I do. Okay, so I do have a couple questions for you.
Awesome.
For the Serenity deck, well, since we were just chatting about that, Cindy asked if the drinks at those bars are included or if it's an extra fee.
No, so if you have the Cheer, I'm assuming you mean if you have the Cheers beverage package, which they would be included. Any bar space on board is included in the Cheers beverage package. The only thing you have to keep in mind with the Cheers beverage package is it doesn't work on drinks that are over $20, which means top shelf for us. So that would be the very top shelf liquors. But those you get I think it's 50% off those drinks if you have the Cheers beverage. And I will say we don't have a single craft cocktail that's above $20. They're pretty much in that $14 range. So it also works at that bar too. I know I kind of went a little bit further with that, but hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. And just from my own experience, if you don't have like the Bubbles package, which is like the sodas and stuff like that,
yes,
or there's the Cheers package, which is for the alcoholic drinks and everything. If you don't have one of those packages, you just pay per drink. So you would pay for it at the bar.
Right. That's correct. So you just use your sell and sign card for those.
Yeah. So I had, going back to the drinks, someone asked what the mocktails run about for price wise.
Oh yeah, that's a good question too. They pretty much run in the same price range as actually, I'm sorry, they do not, because the sodas are much cheaper actually. So the mocktails would be in that range of like from when I was just last on board, because I don't have it fully offhand, they were in the range of $10.
Okay.
So hopefully that answers that. But I will say I could be a little bit wrong. Because I only saw like 1 or 2. Because I know we have, I'm talking about the frozen ones as well. So I saw that we have like a frozen mocktail of a pina colada. And it was around $10 from what I remember. The other fun thing though is we actually give you edible straws with that, which is kind of fun. Not to go on a tangent.
I do order a lot of mocktails on Carnival, and
Nice.
usually between $8 and $10. So yeah, you're
Okay, right.
about,
Okay, that makes
you're
sense.
in the good range there.
Nice. Yeah.
I had one more question that we'll do right now, and then I have another question for later when we're talking about when we get to the rooms part. We're not quite there yet.
Okay,
But
cool.
Earlier in the presentation, we were talking about the Showtime Lounge where you
Yeah.
can go and all the shows. And Jean asked if you need to sign up in advance to go to the Showtime Lounge, or do you just show up and it's open seating?
No, so that's a good question. So you do just show up and it is open seating. And that's why we normally do. So like when you see, when you get on the cruise and you see your Fun Times or your Hub app, you'll actually see that we usually run multiple shows on the same night. So you might get the Playlist Productions, which is that one I was talking about where they do like Dear Future Husband. They'll probably do the show about 4 times in a day. That way it can accommodate everybody that's on the ship. So if you show up at one time and it happens to be at capacity, someone would be standing out front to let you know that it's at capacity. And you would just have to come back for a later show. But it is just first come, first serve. You show up and you find whatever seat is available to you.
Okay. Perfect. That's it for right now. And I have a question later when we get to rooms. So
Awesome. Perfect. So what I wanted to do next though is go over kids activities and what we have on board for the families. So the first thing we'll talk about is Build-A-Bear Workshop. That happens on your first sea day. The Build-A-Bears themselves are $28. And then we also do sell like the clothes for them. We have certain ones that are branded for Carnival, as well as just regular different like clothes that they wear. It happens exactly as it would happen inside a Build-A-Bear shop. So you have the heart, you have to rub the heart, you do have to make a wish, you put it in the bear, they do fill it right in front of you, and you do get to have that entire experience that you would have at the store, just not in the store. And again, the location of that can change though on the ship, depending on how much they need to accommodate for that, or how full the ship is. Usually it happens in Camp Ocean, but sometimes it has been known to happen like in the main atrium or different places if they are anticipating a higher crowd. And that one, you would again see that on your Fun Times that you see every day to your room or in your Hub app, and you would just show up. You don't have to reserve that or anything. You pay for it when you're there using your Sail and Sign card. But speaking of, some Camp Ocean, like I said, where we sometimes normally would have that Build-A-Bear Workshop, wanted to give you a look into what those spaces look like on the ship. The Camp Ocean here is actually quite big. This is just one portion of it. We do split up Camp Ocean between 3 different groups. So we have what are our penguins, which are 2 to 5. We have our stingrays, which are 6 to 8. And then we have the last group, which is 9 to 11, which are the sharks. And so that way we can divide kids between their likeness and their age, make sure that they, nobody gets, hurt or anything like that. We have plenty of staff always in terms of the time of season. That's kind of how we staff. We know exactly how full the ship will be based on the season, and that's how we make sure to staff properly. So in the summer, we're always like probably staffed at our highest, just because that's usually when we have the most families. When you're going, you might have, you never know sort of how full it's going to be. One nice thing about Camp Ocean, though, is it is completely free of charge up until 10 p.m. The only thing you cannot leave is you cannot leave your child there through lunch or dinner or breakfast. So we do not serve meals in Camp Ocean. That has a lot to do with different laws in place, and as well as like managing allergies and things like that. It's just best to have the family pick the child up, and they can take them to a lunch or that meal and then bring them right back if they would like to come back. What's really cool is we fill the space with games. There's PlayStations, there's Nintendos. They host dance parties. They host little slumber parties throughout the cruise. One thing you will want to pay attention to, if you do have kids in that 11 and under age range, and you wanted to have maybe a night where you went on a date or had a date night or a night to yourself, you can actually do what's called Night Owls, where we host your child in Camp Ocean for a slumber party or a dance party or whatever type of party is happening that night, from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. For $8.95 an hour. So that's the only time that Camp Ocean would be a charge for you. And that, like I said, again, is only $8.95 an hour. And they kind of make it really fun for the older kids. A lot of times they make it like a party where they can do dancing and different games. For the younger kids, they do actually lay it out like a slumber party for those that probably can't stay up until 1 a.m. Might try, but probably can't. And the reason why we make it more of a party atmosphere for the kids is because obviously if you tell the kids they're getting babysat on their cruise, they're probably not going to love that as much as if you get to go to a party. And what kid doesn't want to try to stay up late? But what's really cool is You have a bunch of highly trained individuals that work here. One big thing we'll kind of talk about and hit on at the end is everyone on the ship is actually trained by Culture City. So we were one of the very first cruise lines to be approved by Culture City, and we are still one of the only contemporary lines that's approved by Culture City, which is a company that works towards sensory needs and those that have sensory issues. So we have complete training amongst all of our staff. Even I had to take the training, and I am not on board. I'm shoreside. So they're built to, or they have been taught to handle different sensory needs and issues. We have sensory bags if you'd like to check those out if you do have a child with sensory issues, or even if you yourself has sensory issues. Those bags come with noise canceling headphones, as well as a bunch of different other things. But the big thing is, if we have kids that are nonverbal, we have a cue card for them that they can use with all the different statements that they might want to make or what they might need at the time, and they can just point to the cue card. And we also have lanyards for those that feel like they might want the rest of the employees on the ship to be able to identify that they have sensory needs. So again, you would either go to guest services for that, or you would just go to Camp Ocean on that first embarkation day when you're going to go in and sort of check that out and start to check your child in. And they do maybe have sensory issues or sensory needs. You can address those right there at Camp Ocean, or like I said, once you get on board with guest services as well. Just wanted to give that aside as well for anyone who might need that. Club O2 is going to be for the teens. Obviously, we call it the club because I'm sure that's the only thing, the way that we can get the teens to go there. There's PlayStations there. They do host dance parties. For the most part, though, when you have Club O2 and Circle C, which is for middle schoolers, we know that the kids are not going to spend as much time here. So actually what happens with teens mostly is they actually have a lot of events that happen around the ship for them. So they'll have different dance parties, pool parties, and things like that happening around the ship that are already pre-planned and actually in your hub app as well, so that they can know, okay, all of my friends that I maybe just made on embarkation day or the first day are going to be at this pool party and not in the Club O2 section. But again, this O2 section does have a dance floor where we will host dance parties, as well as PlayStations and game boards for them to play. And the age range for this is 15 to 17, because 18 we do consider an adult on board. Circle C is for the middle schoolers. Again, it's a little bit similar. It does have video game stations and things like that. So it has PlayStations as well as game boards. It's a smaller space than Club O2 because it is built to be the same way, where we will host the middle schoolers around the ship for their own events on board. So they'll have different things, and they might be going on scavenger hunts and things like that. And this age range is from 12 to 14. So just wanted to hit on those. And then again, like I said, Culture City is one that we've worked with. We take a lot of pride in the partnership we have with them. There's a ton of different options for you while on board. So again, like I kind of mentioned, definitely make sure to go to guest services first, or if it's for a child, just go straight to Camp Ocean and you can get whether it be the bag that you need, or the lanyard, or the nonverbal cue card, or just to alert the staff that they do have sensory issues and what that might entail. So again, we're just really proud of that one and wanted to highlight that too. Before we go into dining, did anyone have any questions about the kids' activities?
No, we don't have any questions for that.
Awesome, perfect. So we'll kind of move on to.
Can I just say, I think all the sensory stuff is so freaking cool. I just wanted to say
yes.
that.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
awesome.
No, we're really proud of it. So thank you. That means a lot. And I have seen them working on board and kind of like, I've even seen some of the kids who have the lanyards on, and it's really great because then when you have maybe you're in the main dining room, it's a lot easier for the wait staff to understand maybe what they might need, as well as keep in mind too, on these ships in the main dining room, we do have magicians that go around to the tables. And so sometimes that helps us too, just in case maybe we can understand if it might be overwhelming to that child or that individual. So it's good to just always let us know those types of things. But if you do love magic or sleight of hand, it is one of the best parts of the main dining room. It's my wife's favorite part for sure. So we'll go into delicious dining though. Obviously we have to talk about Guy's Burgers. One thing we really pride ourselves on is allowing or offering what we think is the most diverse portfolio of inclusive dining options. And this ship has some great choices. So you have Guy's Burger Joint first. That's right off that midship Lido deck pool. This is definitely one of the go-tos for pretty much every Carnival guest. Every single ship basically has to have this or people probably would revolt. My personal favorite is the Ringer. It's like his barbecue burger. Don't ever be, intimidated by the line. It does go quickly. The burgers are actually usually being made sort of in mass as they go, because they know the certain lines can get kind of, busy there. He's got a huge toppings bar though. And it's just a great smash burger. And again, this is all included, so you can go up as many times as you want. I think I've definitely had at least 2 in one day. It's really fun. And if you haven't tried it, you definitely should. Also, when you're up there too, I know I just moved to this slide, always ask or always, alert the staff if you have any allergies or if you are vegetarian or vegan, because we do have options at these places, especially with both of them. We have the vegetarian burgers and things like that. I don't think we would have a fully vegan burger at Guy's Burgers, but we do have vegetarian options. Blue Iguana Cantina, though, is another staple for us. It's also basically just on the other side of Guy's Burgers on that midship Lido deck. This is a great spot. It has tacos, burritos. It has a full salsa bar as well as some fresh fruit there. This is another all-inclusive spot and definitely a crowd favorite. So just keep those 2 in mind. Those are great spots for lunch, and they do give you something that I think is that step above, going to the buffet or things like that. And then the last really unique place that we have is called Guy's Pig and Anchor. So what's really cool for you all is not every ship has this. In fact, only a few do. And this one was built specifically for the ship. It has an outdoor seating area, and it's also all-inclusive. And it is a lunch option. It is not open for dinner, but it is open for lunch. And it's got that sort of barbecue that Guy Fieri has created for us in terms of his menu. So you can get, so many different options there. There's just different types of sliced and smoked meats, as well as mac and cheese and all the different sides that you would come to love from a barbecue joint. And it's right here on deck. And that's another all-inclusive spot for you. So we do feel like we have a nice diverse portfolio of fast casual, all-included options for you. So I'm very excited because honestly, now I'm really hungry. I'm excited for you all. Just wanted to also give a look at what the dining rooms look like. So you have 2 on the ship. You have the Northern Lights dining room and the Southern Lights. This one's the Southern Lights dining room. I don't know how you all are doing it, but sometimes as a group, you can all dine as a group if you want. And that's something that I can help work with too, in terms of getting you in touch with the groups department if that's what you want to do. But you would have your main dining rotation in here. Like I said, what's really cool is we do have the tableside magicians that do pop around during different times on this ship. And then another cool option that you might not have known is, so we now have a partnership with Emeril Lagasse. And what's really cool about that is he's been building, different restaurant options for us on our newest ships, but on all of our ships, he's added his own specialty options on all of our main dining rotations. So in the main dining room, when you open the menu, you will be able to see Emeril's favorites, and some will be included and some might be premium. And that just really depends on what he has available during that time of the season and what menu that we have rolled out. But what's really cool is, again, you can always look on the main dining rotation and you'll be able to see the menu and you can see what Emeril's favorites are for that night. And like I said, some are all included. As the main dining room is obviously an included option. You don't pay for the main dining room while you're there. It's not premium. But you get those premium options for free with the Emeril's favorites. He also has favorites during the Sea Day brunch. They're mostly premium. I know one of them is like a lobster Benedict and stuff like that, but it's just another addition that kind of enhances the experience for everybody. And then the last one we want to talk about with dining was our Prime Steakhouse. So this ship does have a premium steakhouse on board. For us, the steakhouse is $52 per person, but you get 4 courses. There's some really amazing options. There's like an 18-ounce ribeye and things like that, and it's all included in that $52 per person. You can also pay an extra $26 a person, and you would get a half-glass pairing of wine with every single course. This is a great spot, especially like I said, if you have kids and you want to go on a date night, you can drop the kids off at Camp Ocean for that night owls while you go enjoy a date night at our Prime Steakhouse. It's a great space. It's got an open kitchen where you can see the chefs working, and even the chefs usually bring out different dishes that are off the menu just as like a fun little addition to your experience. Before we go into staterooms, did anyone have any question on dining or anything like that?
We haven't had any questions come through for the dining. So
Okay, great. Did you want to give me the stateroom question at the time?
I have a question and I can't figure out the chat. I can't find the chat
That's
anywhere,
okay.
so I'm
Go
just
ahead.
gonna ask. So I'm a cruise virgin, no clue how it works.
Okay.
Are the like your options for breakfast and dinner? Is there like a certain time frame that they offer that? Like, are you
Yeah.
limited that you have to come between these times, or how does that work?
Yeah. That's a great question. So one thing you'll want to do is, so again, everyone should make sure before you sail, download the Carnival Hub app before you get on the ship. So the ship's Wi-Fi will make the Carnival Hub app work for you without buying Wi-Fi. The Carnival Hub app will tell you, because there's different tabs on the app, and you can click dining and it will give you all the operating hours for everything. So one thing you'll want to pay attention to, and I will say this, it works for both early risers and late risers. We tend to know that that's how this type of cruising goes, because like even for me, I'm an early riser, but my wife is more of a later riser. So we actually have the sea day brunches that happen, and you'll have quite a few of those because you have quite a few sea days. I think you have at least 2. So you'll have the option to go to 2 sea day brunches, which are included in your cruise fare. So you should go and enjoy that. Those are open until noon. So a lot of things are open pretty late for breakfast wise. And also early. So what you'll want to do though is check the Carnival Hub app, each day or maybe even the night before to know, okay, when does this work? With the sea day brunch, what you would do though is you'll go into your app and you will just click when you're ready for a table, and then we will tell you to head down to the dining room to be seated once your table is ready. I've never waited more than about 10 minutes for a table to be ready. It's kind of that your time dining feel. So basically, the sea day brunch will be open from like 7 a.m. all the way to noon. And then you can just go anytime in there and sit down. You could even show up at 11:50 and you'll still be able to have, your full sea day brunch. So hopefully that kind of answers that question. Your best friend though is going to be that Carnival Hub app. So if you know you're already going, you should just download it now so that by the time you're on the ship, it'll just activate itself and start working once you're on board. It's definitely something you'll want to download before you get on the ship, because obviously, your own cell service can be quite dicey when you first get on the boat, even when you're just docked in Miami. So hopefully that answered that question. Did that?
Yeah, like what are the dinner hours?
Yeah, of course. So
Main
dinner
dining.
runs on rotations. So there's an early time dining and a late time dining, and then there's also your time dining. I personally like your time dining, but you guys might be dining as a group. I'm not quite sure how that's working. For your time dining though, it's the same thing. You just, once dining opens at 5:45 p.m., you can click to say you're ready to dine anytime up until the end of dining. And usually the end of dining is around 9 p.m. Now you just can show up once you click that button and it tells you when the table's ready, or you'll be given a rotation and it tells you each day when you're supposed to go to the dining room to have your dinner. But again, there's also the other options that are open around the ship. You can also get pretty much 24/7 room service. We do have pizza that's open quite late, and you can get pizza delivered to your room at any time.
Cool. Thank
Yeah,
So-
for sure.
And I know, I just was looking in the chat, Brenda mentioned that we will be dining together as a group and we'll be doing the
Okay.
early dining.
Nice.
And I know this last one that we did, our last cruise that we did, that was super fun because we had like
Yeah.
4 or 5 tables that were all for our conference.
Yeah.
And like the Victorine, Michelle, and Brenda and I rotated around to different tables, and we had different nights that like the attendees could
Cool.
rotate around so that we could all network
It's so
and
much fun.
talk about
That's awesome.
like more things that we've
That's what
besides what
figured
we
you would-
covered at the
yeah.
conference. So
I
that's
figured you
super
guys
fun.
would be doing that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I did have someone ask another food question.
Okay.
Christine would like to know if you are serving a formal tea on the second day.
A formal tea on the second day? Like you mean the first sea day?
Maybe. Is that
So
and
that's
Victorine is
actually-
nodding. Yes, she's and
Yeah,
so
it's
apparently that's something that they have that they
Yeah,
found on another Carnival cruise, was that there was a
Yes.
formal, like an English
Yes.
tea that was served.
right. So on your formal night, that would be happening. It's hard for me to say 100% certain because things can change based on different, instances, like even inclement weather can change different things that happen around the ship. But it would be on your formal night, which in theory is your very first sea day on board. So that is a good question, and that would be a yes, as long as the formal night, whenever the formal night happens, which is normally your first sea day. Hopefully that answered that one for you guys.
Yeah. That,
Awesome.
I'm just looking to see. There were a couple
Yeah.
other. I'm just looking to see if any of them were dining questions.
Yeah, no
Okay,
worries.
I think we're good.
Awesome. So we'll kind of just go through an overview of what the staterooms look like. The first one that you see here is a Cloud9 spa accommodations, and this is a suite with a balcony. So you can book into the Cloud9 suites or any of the Cloud9 staterooms. They do give you access to different parts of the spa, and especially those like saunas and aromatherapy rooms. Instead of needing a day pass, they would give you that access. They're quite spacious. It's a lot more of like neutral colors. That way it's a little more relaxing. And you are on what would be considered a higher deck, which is technically like a higher category, because people do like to be the higher up you are, usually obviously the better the view is, and the quieter it's going to be on the ship in general. But we'll kind of go through all of them. So you can book into an interior. These are 185 square feet. This one that you're seeing here does have the double beds, or the 2 twin beds, but that's just a choice. Whenever you go to sort of log into your cruise right before it happens, when you have to give us your passport information, pick when you're going to show up to the port and everything, you tell us how you want your bed set up. So you can either do a king bed or 2 extended twin beds like this, where they pull apart. The other options that we have, though, we have ocean view rooms. This gives you that porthole so you can see out, or that window, so to speak. These are also 185 square feet, so they're the same size as the interior cabins, but you do get the light that comes in from the window. The private balcony or the balcony staterooms are going to be bigger. They're about 225 square feet. You do get your own balcony space which is about 40 square feet. And you do get loungers on that. What's really nice is you have, what's great about these is, like it said, you have your private little balcony space. If you ever just needed to get, a breather or take a relaxing moment, you can step out into your own little private balcony. And again, these are a little bit bigger than the other 2, so they would be considered, a higher category for you to book into. And then we also have what's called the premium vista balconies. So these are bigger than the regulars, and they even have a wraparound balcony, basically. So you have the door that kind of is off to the, I went too fast, right of the bed, and it kind of wraps all the way around the bed. So you get more space here, and you get more balcony space as well. And those are available too to book into. Obviously, you would need to book in through the group. So you would need to use, whichever travel advisor here that can book you in through the group. So those are the staterooms. I just wanted to take any questions before we talk about the last bit, which is just the itinerary. And I apologize if I'm taking too much time.
We do have a couple of room questions.
Cool.
And so Lisa was wondering, she's already booked a balcony room, but
awesome.
her co-writer friend who's coming with her needs an accessible room. And so she's asking if balcony rooms, if you have accessible rooms that are balcony.
That's a great question. We do. So as long as they're available still, you can book into that, or hopefully make that room change. They're called ADA rooms for us, and every ship. So last year we've had our last ships go through the final dry dock to make sure that all of our ships were up to full of the new ADA code, which meant that we had to add more ADA rooms to certain ships. But this ship is definitely up to code on ADA rooms. So we would have a couple of suites, probably a handful of suites. We would have balconies. We would also have interiors and ocean views that are ADA compliant. So that's a great question. But yes, you would be able to do that.
So Lisa, reach out to Brenda and Victorine, and they'll help you with your reservation and everything for that. Okay,
Awesome.
So another question. Someone
Can
asked.
I piggyback on that question?
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that my mother will come. I'm gonna just book a balcony by myself, and then if she comes, she comes. I think that's how it works. But she may need that as well. What is the shower bathtub situation on most rooms?
Yeah, so pretty much all the rooms are now built pretty much the same. Again, though, you can reach out to Brenda or Victorine, and they can even call in and make sure to get you the right room. So the ADA rooms, obviously, it's a wider door. There is no lip to get in, and there's no lip to get into the shower. It is a larger shower, so it's not a bathtub. It's just a larger shower. Is how that one works, and it's one that has no lips. So if you have a wheelchair or anything, you can roll right up.
She's
into
not
the
there
shower.
yet.
Yeah. Okay. So
She just
would it
can't
be
step
like
over like a full bathtub.
Sorry.
She can't step over like a bathtub.
Oh, okay. Well, pretty much most of the cabins that you'd be getting on that sort of like even just a regular balcony, it's not going to have a bathtub. It's going to have
Okay.
a shower.
Cool.
So it would even be a small lip. So if it's actually that you don't need the ADA room because she's okay with that and can maneuver on her own, then you can definitely just do a regular balcony. If you
Awesome. Good
wanted
to know. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course. Any last
Thank
questions about rooms?
We did. We had a couple
Oh, okay.
more questions. So someone asked if you can do twins in the balcony rooms.
You can. And then also when you're talking with Brenda and Victorine, you can make sure to, they'll make sure to get you the right room, especially when it comes to if you need a third, fourth, or fifth passenger in that room. Because obviously we have rooms that'll accommodate up to 5 passengers. And you can do twin beds in most of the balconies. But you'll want to work with them obviously, because they'll be able to make sure you're in the right room. If you need a twin bed balcony cabin, like a cabin that can have twin beds in a balcony, if that makes sense.
Yeah, excellent. One
Awesome.
last question. Some people are like trying to figure out like where their room is located, like on the ship, and how close it is to elevators. I know that there are maps. So where can they find like the map for this ship?
Yeah, that's a great question.
So
Can
can
I
I chime in for a minute? So it's not, so I know how to find around. It's a matter of I get seasick, and then being by the elevators because of all of the noise, or is it midship? So I was wondering, was 4E in the middle, or is it more toward elevators and that? That's what I was
so
wondering.
you did actually. I have my little handy dandy deck plan book
Thank
here,
you.
if you
Didn't
don't
mean to
mind.
stop you, but
So you said you had a 4E cabin?
no, that's the one that just is on the conference guide. So I was just wondering that particular section.
Yeah, no, actually that's a great, so there are midship for that as well as forward and aft. Midship looks like it's on deck 6, and deck 7 is where you'd be either forward and aft. Those are great. I mean, those are great decks. To be honest, I don't think you'll really have a problem with noise, especially since you picked such a great itinerary and it's 6 days. You're going to have a lot more like families on board, and definitely people that are looking to relax and have a great time in that sense, and not necessarily the type of crowd that might stay out super late, maybe screaming by the elevators or something like that. But you can always check too, based on, so did you already book into the group? Like, do you already have a cabin, or you don't have a cabin yet?
No, not yet. I was just
Okay.
I just noticed on the conference
Well,
flyer that it said 4E, so I was just curious.
Understood.
Is 4E specific?
Yeah. So 4E is specific. So that's a great question too. When you see those, it just refers to the letter refers to the category. And so what they picked was a category that's on deck 6 or 7, which is a great setup because then you're above all of the entertainment spaces, which is great. And even deck 7 forward and aft are both totally fine. Obviously, if you are someone who gets seasick, I will say making sure your room is midship is going to be best for you. And you can also talk with Brenda and Victorine on placement and where you might want your cabin located, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Any other questions about staterooms?
That was it for rooms. Someone did ask about pictures, but those are just on the website, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. And then if you even want to see deck plans, you can look on the website or even search the Carnival Magic deck plans, and you'll be able to find them. We have plenty posted. Exactly. So just wanted to end today. Thanks for letting me join and talk through. Wanted to end today with your itinerary. So you're going to 3 amazing destinations. And what's really cool and unique about this sailing is you're getting to go to a bunch of our exclusive destinations or ones that are only available to the Carnival Corporation. And then you'll get to go to Celebration Key, which is even better because it's only available to Carnival Cruise Line. We don't even share that one with our sister brands. So the first one we'll take a look at is Grand Turk. This is just a quick overview photo of it. It is in the Turks and Caicos. You have some really cool pool areas, a wave pool over there, a nice stretch of beach. And again, this one's great because you have a pier, so you don't have to tender anything. You can walk right off the boat. And what's really great about these destinations is we do control the environment in terms of the food and the aspects while you're on island, so you can feel really comfortable. And then if you're ever looking to do any offshore excursions, all you would need to do is use your My Cruise Manager once you're booked and you have your booking number, and you can start to book anything you want, whether it be cabanas, day beds, as well as any of the offshore excursions that are available to you at any of these destinations. The other one here, sorry, it's a little pixelated actually, is Amber Cove. This one's going to be in the Dominican. What's really great about this stop, it's actually been listed as a top 5 destination from Travel Zoo and Cruise Weekly for a few years in a row, actually. It's a beautiful spot. The weather is usually amazing. We have different restaurants here as well as some great bar locations. And as you can see here, a ton of lounge space and a ton of pool space, also with a stretch of the beach there too. But the big one we're going to talk about is Celebration Key. So Celebration Key is going to look like this. It's 65 acres of land, this first part. It has a pier there, as you see as well. It's built on these 2 large freshwater lagoons. They're the largest freshwater lagoons in the Caribbean, and we split it up between 5 different portals. So there's the Starfish Lagoon, Paradise Plaza, Calypso Lagoon, Lacono Cove, and Pearl Cove Beach Club. And I'm going to kind of tell you what those mean because obviously they don't mean anything to you right now. So Paradise Plaza is going to be your welcome center. We've got a really cool like tri-colored promenade or pier that we're building. And all told, this entire investment is costing $600 million from Carnival. So it's a little over $500 million for us. It's going to be amazing. There's a huge mile-long white sand beach. There's 30 different dining and bar venues on island. There's 4 full-service sit-down restaurants. When you first walk in here, though, there's going to be an ice cream shop. You're going to be able to get a bunch of your excursions here. So if you ever wanted to do your offshore excursions, you can get a bunch of information here and you'd pick them up at the back, which I'll show you in a second. But because this is on Grand Bahama, we're offering a ton of offsite excursions, whether that's swimming with the dolphins, playing with the pigs at the beach, or going to different ATV or different cultural tours. But this is kind of what that first thing will look like. You'll walk through, you'll see that huge 10-story high sun castle, as we call it, or it's a sand castle structure with racing water slides, which is really cool. And then if you go either to Lagoon West or East, it's going to depend on what type of fun you want to have. So if we went to the left or Lagoon West, we would get to Calypso Lagoon, which is the adult-friendly portal. So that portal is going to have everything that adults might want. It does have a designated adults-only area where you have to be 18 and up to join or 21 and up to drink. And that's where you see that DJ Island and swim-up bar. The swim-up bar is going to have 100 bar stools to sit at, so it's going to have plenty of space plus day beds. It also will have a designated part of the beach that's adults only as well. But you will have a full stretch of the mile-long white sand beach with plenty of loungers, plenty of day beds and cabanas. You're also going to have a swing seat bar at the back, and then you're going to have super villas and cabanas as well. So we'll kind of talk about those in a second. Then, though, you do have Starfish Lagoon, which is the real reason why we built all this. It's for families, family-friendly side of things. This is where you join those racing water slides. They both have pretty long names, so we're not going to go into that right now, but they're really fun. And they're going to be over 320 feet of water slide track, so to speak. There's an infant splash pad, and we do allow swim diapers at the infant splash pad. Plenty of lounge space. There's a pickleball court in the back, aquabanas, which are like floating cabanas, and then another stretch of the mile-long white sand beach here where you can do different types of rentals like snorkels and things like that. The other spot, though, is the adults only private club portal, which is Pearl Cove Beach Club. So we do have a space that's going to be, you have to pay a resort fee to get into. It starts at $99 for the day and goes all the way up to $179 for the day. And it depends on what you want to do in that space. There's an infinity pool with a swim-up bar, a full-service sit-down restaurant that's going to be a little bit higher end. There's going to be loungers and day beds, as well as a private side of the mile-long white sand beach there. So $99 will get you the entrance. $139 will get you the entrance and the drink package there, which is going to be 10 drinks for the day. And $179 will get you all-inclusive meals at the full-service restaurant, as well as the 10 drink package, and obviously your lounge space and more inside, Pearl Cove Beach Club. And you can go back and forth on the island. You don't have to just stay at Pearl Cove. And then the last spot to talk about is Lacono Cove, which is the retail portal. So this is where you pick up any of your offshore excursions. Plus, we're working quite hard with the Ministry of Tourism in the Bahamas. About 75% of the island will actually be, the workforce will come from the local Freeport area, as well as we're going to have a huge mural that's been painted by local artists, and then plenty of different shops to attend and a coffee shop back here. So there's going to be a ton of things to do. Just wanted to quickly also go through the rentals that you can use here. And again, I don't really have a bunch of pricing on this because it can vary just based on time of year, and how close you do, because we do have different sales that'll be happening and things like that. But you can book any of the day beds or cabanas or anything, even that Pearl Cove Beach Club, in your My Cruise Manager once you book the cruise. But we're going to have water day beds at Calypso Lagoon. That's the day bed for 2 on the Sun Shelf by the DJ Beats, was what we're calling it. That's the adults only area. And we're also going to have day beds as you go onto the beach. So we'll have beach day beds where you have the curtains. It's built for 2. The loungers can adjust. And those will be on both the adults only, or the adult friendly side, and the family friendly side. The other thing we'll have are cabanas and large cabanas. So they are just based on max occupancy. So one is for 6 and one is for 8. And you do get additional things. You get fresh fruit and snacks upon your arrival. You get private sofas and armchairs. You also get cabinets to lock your belongings in if you'd like, as well as privacy curtains. And then you get those sun loungers. So what you're looking at here is a large cabana because you get 4 sun loungers. You'd get 2 at a regular, and those are both off lagoon and on lagoon at Calypso and Starfish Lagoon. What you're looking at here are the over the lagoon ones, though. And they come with, they're a little bit smaller, so they only can occupy 6 guests. They do come with the 2 loungers, which are kind of fun because they're kind of built on that sun shelf, which is cool. They also have the locking cabinets, but they don't come with like the fresh fruit deliveries and things like that. It's just a little bit harder for us to have staff that gets to those locations. But they're going to be really fun, and they're right on lagoon for you. And then the last, few to look at are going to be these super villas. So we have 2 super villas on each lagoon. These hold 12 people. They come with that sun shelf where you can see that person lounging on the 2 loungers. They come with a water slide. You get fresh fruit delivered upon your arrival, as well as lunch delivered to your cabana. You also get, much more like sofas and lounge chairs, as well as hammocks and swinging chairs and things like that. It's just a bigger space, and it's built for 12 people. You have those at Calypso Lagoon and Starfish Lagoon, both over the lagoon, and you have them on the beach as well. So there's 2 on the lagoon on each one, and then 2 on the beach. And then the last one that we want to talk about was Aquabanas, which are going to be really cool. So these are only in the family-friendly side. They actually fit about 8 people. They're a floating Aquabana here. They each come with their own dock. They are tethered, so they can't float away. And they're around this Aquabana bar that we've created. And you can be, inside the water, in the cabana. It's a non-slip surface too. It's going to be a really fun thing, especially if you want your whole family to have a space to go back to. But I just wanted to highlight the different offerings there. And then again, you would book that in My Cruise Manager. So that's how you would book all those spaces. So that's all I have for you guys today, though, on your journey and everything you're going to do. I think it's going to be really fun. But did anyone have any questions about the last part there?
Just one quick question. So we talked a lot about like the rentals and the restaurants and things where you can buy food. What's included that is
Great. That's a good point. I probably should have mentioned that.
Access. So that would be great.
So for us and anyone who sailed with us, the Cheers beverage package and those beverage packages will not work on island as of right now. They don't work on any of our exclusive destinations though. But what you will get is everyone will get what's called Island Eats loaded onto their Sail and Sign card, because you will be able to use your Sail and Sign card on the island. That is going to get you 1 free meal for the day, and then 25% off any other meal after that. There's 2 full-service sit-down restaurants on the adult-friendly side. One is going to be a smoked barbecue restaurant with local Bahamian beers, like a local brewery there. The other is going to be what's called Mingo's, which is going to be kind of like a seafood stop. There's also going to be a full-service sit-down on the family-friendly side, and then both sides have fast casual trucks, food trucks, as well as different like snack carts that you can go to. And then the family-friendly side also has like more of an American style fare, fast casual cafeteria that's called the Captain's Galley. And that's definitely going to be better for like the kids and things like that, because it's going to have burgers and fries and chicken and pizza and things like that. But again, you get 1 free meal with your Island Eats that's already going to be loaded onto your Sail and Sign card for you. And then again, if you decided to do the adults only private club portal and you paid the $179 for the day, you'll actually get all-inclusive meals at that elegant full-service restaurant. So you'll be able to go back to that full-service sit-down restaurant and continue to order food as long as you're there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Had a couple other questions.
Okay.
Lisa asked, can someone with a scooter get to the beaches?
Yes. So we actually have 2. We're going to have different things. So this is a good question. Thanks for bringing this up. We're going to have a tram that can take you from the gangway all the way onto island and around the island for accessibility, as well as different beach side accessibility options. So there's going to be beach wheelchairs that have the thicker tires for the sand, as well as motorized scooters that you can rent as well. So that we will have plenty of accessibility on island. I saw one. Can you eat on the ship if you decide not to go ashore one time? Yes, you can. Everything will be open on the ship, and that's again all included. So even when you're ported at Celebration Key, you can go to Guy's Burgers on the ship.
Someone was asking about what is the time frame that you're at the ports. Do you know that at this point? Like,
I actually don't.
depend on the itinerary?
I don't know that offhand. But
Okay.
usually what I'm seeing from Celebration Key is you're going to be there as early as 7 a.m. and you're probably not going to leave until about like 6 to 7 p.m. We're there quite a long time because this is our destination. Okay. It says you depart at 5 p.m. So it just depends on the journey itself and where you're going to. Because I think you stop at Celebration Key first and then you go to other destinations. So that's probably why you leave at 5 p.m.
So, okay, perfect. I think
That's right. Early enough to have dinner on board. That's correct. So you can have your lunch on Celebration Key. But thank you guys so much for letting me join. I'm looking forward. I think you guys are going to have a great time on board. Any other
Can I ask
questions or anything
something?
before I go?
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
this maybe was covered before I joined. I think I got here pretty close to the beginning, but just as an overall overview of the cruise. So when you book your room, what does that include? Or like, are there different levels for food, or like how does all that get paid for?
Good question. So in your cruise fare, you are included a main dining rotation. So all your dinners are comped. You get the sea day brunch, which is also for free. And then all of the Lido deck options that are fast casual. So Guy's Burgers, Guy's Pig and Anchor, which is our partnership with Guy Fieri, as well as the pizza place, which is like a brick oven pizza. And then you also get Blue Iguana Cantina. That's all for free. Plus all the entertainment that happens on board. None of that is a cost. So if you want to go to the shows, you want to enjoy karaoke, you want to do all that. The only thing you're going to have to pay for are things like, alcoholic beverages, sodas, coffees, teas, things like that, unless you have the Bubbles or the Cheers beverage package. You'll be well fed on the cruise.
I don't drink alcohol. So
It's great.
The Bubbles would be just unlimited sodas or what?
Yeah, exactly. That's unlimited, basically any other drink outside of alcohol.
So like with your meal
sodas,
package, you don't get like a free drink with your meal.
No, there's no like meal package that you pay into. It's just like we offer a bunch of all-inclusive dining. So you don't have to pay for any of that. It's all part of your cruise fare. I know some cruise lines make you do like a meal package instead. But no, so you would do, if you wanted to do sodas and teas or things like that, coffees, specialty coffees and things like that, you would have to get the Bubbles package. Otherwise, we have lemonade and iced tea for free in like smaller cups. The other thing too to remember is if you want to, you are allowed to bring on, each per guest, you're allowed to bring on one case, a 12-pack of canned manufactured sealed soda.
Okay.
and 1 bottle of wine, but it has to be in your carry-on. You cannot pack it in your checked luggage. It has to be carried on with you.
The 12 pack has to be in your carry-on.
Has to be carried on. You
Okay.
cannot put it in your suitcase.
Are there refrigerators in the room?
Yes, you'll have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what you've talked about brunch 2 days, but how do you get breakfast the other 3 or 4 days?
There's breakfast. There's the big buffet that you can have breakfast on the Lido deck, as well as all those fast casuals will have different options for breakfast and things like that. So you'll have plenty of spaces. It's on your C days that you get 2 C day. I think you have 2, but you might have 3. 2 C day brunches where you can go to the main dining room and actually have a sit down brunch for free.
Okay. 2 more questions and then I'll let somebody else talk. You said something about the app being free on the Wi-Fi. So does it cost to have Wi-Fi or?
Yeah, so it does cost to have Wi-Fi. You'd have to have a package, but the Wi-Fi is for the entire room. But you don't need the Wi-Fi to use the Hub app. We already have a base level of Wi-Fi that operates the Hub app for you without buying the Wi-Fi package.
So
the
your
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi
package is
in
only
your room?
No. It's only for the people in your stateroom, and it's based on
Okay.
your devices. So you might buy it if you have 4 people, and you can have 4 devices on the Wi-Fi. That type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
No, it's all over the ship. We use
I want to be able to
Starlink,
write somewhere
so
else.
it's all over the ship.
And then what was my last question? Oh, is there a casino on board?
Yes, there is. I shouldn't include any pictures of it, but there is definitely a really cool casino on board with a bar and everything.
Okay. Do they have poker, like live poker?
Yeah, we'll have tables and everything like that. Yeah, there's going to be
Sweet.
blackjack, and all you'll use is your sale and sign card, which could be a little dangerous. So be careful.
Okay. Well, explain that while you're at it. The sale and sign card. Tell me
Oh,
about
it's just
that.
when you board, you're going to get a sale and sign card, which is the card that you use to enter your room. That is the card that will be linked to whatever payment method you want. And that card is how you will pay for everything on the ship.
Okay.
And
So
you'll
like
get
if
a
you
bill
paid
at
for
the end of
individual
your cruise.
sodas, you could use that
Yep.
card.
You'll get
Okay.
a bill at the end of your cruise with that. Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. But awesome. Well, thank you all so much for letting me join.
I have
Um,
one more question for you, Justin. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
We've had the question multiple times in the group and then here. Do we need a passport for any of the ports that we're getting off at?
For anyone's sake, you should absolutely have a passport before you go here. You do not want us to have anything change in the meantime. So even if I answered that today and said, no, you just need a driver's license, it could change by February of 2026. You should all get a passport. It's just better to have that. Plus it's valid for 10 years. So you'd have it for 10 years. It's just, especially with 2 of the ports, one being in the Dominican and Turks and Caicos, you should absolutely have a passport.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. And I did see that question. Bottled water is available, but it is a cost. It is not for free. There is cups for just regular water if you'd like to just have water from like different dispensers that we have. But bottled water is a cost, and you cannot bring bottled water on board. And that's just for us to cut down the plastics that are used. Like we don't use straws or anything like that anymore that are non-edible, things like that. So we have edible straws that are like lime or vanilla or chocolate flavored, things
Can
like
you
that.
bring your own water bottle and fill it up?
Yeah,
every day?
you can bring a reusable. Yeah.
Is there
bring it in.
ice available?
Yep. There will be ice available.
Because I live on water. I mean, I gotta have
There you
water.
go. Okay, bring your water bottle then. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And again, if you have any more questions or anything, definitely ask Victorine and Brenda. They have my contact, so they can ask me any questions. And I know you're gonna have a great time. And thanks for giving me the time today.
Thank you, Justin. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks. Have a good rest of your night.
You too.
Thanks, Justin.
Bye.
Well, hopefully that was a very thorough introduction to the ship that we'll be on and all of the ports that we're going to visit, and that you got all your questions answered. But we have a couple other things to introduce before we get off of here. In the meantime, you can keep asking those questions and we'll do our best. So we are going to obviously let you know what classes you're going to be able to attend, because this is a writing conference. And so we are going to start with Danielle and then Brenda, and then Victorine and I will tell you what classes we will be teaching on board, and that will take place during our C days. So Danielle?
Awesome. I'm super excited to be back for the second cruise. It's going to be so much fun, you guys. My class is titled I'll Rest After the Next Chapter and Other Lies We Tell Ourselves. So my class, we're going to be talking about burnout and setting boundaries, creating wellness strategies, and like all those things that we kind of need to know that we forget sometimes. Like, and it's a good reminder, or if it's something that you struggle with, we'll have lots of good like tips and things in that class. And the goal is to be better, happier writers, and for you to know like your self-worth and how freaking awesome you are and how needed you are, right? So being healthy and good, and so that we can share our words, because your words matter. So that is going to be my class.
Perfect.
Oh.
All right. So my class is going to be Tech your story up a notch, the best digital hacks for writers. So I'm a tech girl all through and through, and I'm so excited. I'm going to do the hard work. I'm going to delve into all of those amazing platforms that we hear about, we see people talk about, all the things that are supposed to make this process easier for us. I'm going to give you the nitty gritty. We're going to break it down, and we're going to find the best, you know, what's worth spending your money on, what can we do for free, everything to help us be the writers we want to be.
Victorine, we're so excited about Brenda's class, and I have to say it was kind of like my idea because I want to know all the things. Victorine, what are you teaching?
All right, I'm doing 2 classes. The first one is Conflict for the Nice Writer, because we all want to baby our characters and give them all the love and everything, but we need to be tough to our characters. And so I'm going to teach you the importance of conflict in any genre and how to torture your characters, even if you're a nice writer. And the second class I'm going to do is Facebook ads for dummies. And I'm not calling any one of you a dummy. I'm just saying I need things dumbed down a little bit so I can understand them. And so I will be going over my Facebook ad strategies, the things that I have found work best for me. And just quickly, I'm going to go through the setup of how to set up an ad, especially if you've never done it before. But that's not going to be the bulk of the class. I'm going to do that kind of quick. The bulk of the class is going to be different ad creatives, because that is the hardest part of Facebook ads, in my opinion. Because the setup part, you know, it's pretty much A, B, C, D, E, you know, go through this and set it up. But the ad creative is the hardest part. So I will be talking about that a lot.
Those are going to be so good. And she may or may not have been inspired to name her class after me, but she's just being nice and saying it's for her. Okay. So I'm going to be teaching a class called Dialogue. Let's talk about it. And the class is going to focus on how we make our dialogue sound good and how we make our characters unique and entertaining. But I really want to focus on the role the dialogue plays in our story structure and pacing and advancing the plot and foreshadowing and all of these really important story elements. And I just think as authors, we focus on dialogue so much as like how it sounds and whether or not it's fun, but there's a lot of work that the dialogue does in our story. And so I'm going to cover all of those ways that you can use dialogue as the powerful tool that it can be. And then I'm going to teach a class called Package Your Books to Sell. So in every industry out there, they spend millions on research, learning how to present their product so that the customers are both interested in looking at it and also giving them lots and lots of information about what that product has and can do for them. And I think we can learn a lot from them as authors on the best way to both pitch and to make promises when we are packaging our books. And so that's going to be a really fun class. I'm excited to teach it. In case you guys are wondering, so I did mention that these classes would be held on sea days. So when our ship is sailing from one fun port to the next fun port, then we will gather in the mornings probably, and we will have 3 classes a day. And so we'll have the 6 total classes, 3 for each sea day. And we will also have a Q&A at some point where you can ask Victorine and I questions, whatever you want. And then we will have a few scheduled right in. So we will say, we're going to meet at this place at this time, and we're all going to sit and get some words in. And we had so much fun doing that last time. We moved around to different locations, and different people came at different times. So we're going to have lots of opportunities for you to do those fun things with the group. But if at any point you want to go and do something else with maybe somebody you brought with you, or maybe you just want to stay in your room and relax, this cruise is designed to give you opportunities and awesome things to do with the group and as writers, but it's all totally up to what you choose to partake of. Victorine, Brenda, Danielle, is there anything else before we go into giveaways that we want to mention? Or does anybody have any questions? Oh, yep. Yeah, the classes will run about 50 minutes, and then we'll have a quick break between them where you can like go to the bathroom, and you'll be able to, you know, bring snacks and drinks with you. So yeah, you'll have a little bit of break between the classes. And it worked out really well last time. So we're pretty happy with that. If there's not any other questions,
Can I ask?
Oh yeah, go for it, please.
So I just want to make sure I understand how the cost is. So what I'm considering is doing a balcony room by myself. And so I'm pretty sure I'm paying double occupancy, which at one point I saw was like $1,800, and another point I saw was like $2,200. So I'm not sure where that difference is. But if I end up bringing like my mom, like if she's well enough, she's been very sick, and so I just don't know what she's going to be like next February. Would I have already paid for her by paying that double occupancy, or how does that work? That's what I'm not clear on.
So I can answer that one.
Okay.
So Carnival requires you to pay for 2 people basically, because each room is set up to hold 2 people, and and that's something they're not selling to someone else if you just go alone. But you don't have to pay for the port fees or the taxes on that second person unless you do get a second person in that room.
Okay.
So there are some fees that are taken off, but if you want just a ballpark figure of how much it's going to cost, just look at what kind of room you want to get and double it. And it's going to be a little bit less, but
Okay.
you know, like not hundreds and hundreds less, right?
And how, like, up to what point would I be able to add her? If, you know,
I would say up until the final payment is due, which is October something. It's on the website.
October
but-
20th is our,
Yeah.
yeah.
so for both of us, it's just double the rate if both of us go.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I will say this, the earlier you book, the more Carnival has all kinds of incentives going on and other things like that. So the price that we have on the website is our secured group price. But if we can get you in for a little bit lower, we will, because Carnival sometimes has a super saver going on, or, you know, a weekend price that's a little bit lower. So whenever you're ready to book, we will try to get you in at the lower price.
Okay. Thank you.
And we also wanted to mention to everybody that we are going to, as part of your cruise, you will be getting chocolate and sparkling cider in your room on embarkation day. So that would be provided to your room. And we're also really excited because this year we are going to be having a group photo, so we can have everybody there to have memories, and you will all get a free copy of the group photo as well. Last time we tried really hard to figure out how to do a photo, and it like just didn't really work out. So this time we made it a priority. So Carolyn wants to know if she can request dark chocolate. I don't know. I think it's Carnival provided chocolate. I don't know.
It's just Carnival provided. I have
Unfortunately,
no idea.
They didn't give us a choice.
But Carolyn, I will have dark chocolate with me. I
Ooh.
promise you. So just if you need to swap out dark chocolate for something, if you get milk and you don't like it, then just come see me. I'm a dark chocolate girly myself. So yes, it will be a group photo with the ship professional photographer. So it'll be a very nice photo, and you guys will all get a copy of it.
And the the print comes from Carnival as well.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
we're not just printing them out for you.
Correct. This is something that, hopefully you guys want. Maybe you'd like, I don't want a photo with these people. No, I'm just joking. You do. Because by the end of the cruise, we're all going to be friends. And so you'll want to have that keepsake. If you are still wanting to have more information, Brenda and Victorine are standing ready to answer your questions, to help you sort things out. I promise, I totally understand that the whole process can be kind of intimidating and confusing. I just struggled with it at first, but luckily Victorine and Brenda are pros and they know what they're doing. So they will make it an easy process for you. And then you can find the link. I'm sure Brenda will probably drop it again. It's been in the chat, but when you are ready to go ahead and sign up, just go to the link and if you have any, questions while you're in the process, then just let them know. But there's the link to go ahead and sign up for the cruise and get your room reserved and all that sort of stuff. So we've had a really good time. And look, I finished an entire thing while we were here, but I had a great time. And I'm so excited about our ports. They look amazing.
Yeah.
Almost just, I wish it was February, like right now.
Michelle, can we do one more question?
Actually, there's a
Absolutely.
few. Yeah, several people have.
We had Jennifer asked if trip insurance is available, and I thought a lot of people might want to know the answer to that question. So, Victorine and Brenda.
It is available, and I believe it's running. I'm sorry, I believe it's running at about 100. I'll double check for you. I'll double check on price, but it is available.
Nope, that's great. And then does it need to be both people in the room, or can just one person get the trip insurance?
I
So
think just one.
individuals can get the insurance for themselves.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And then Carolyn had a question too. If we have a roomie, do we need to sign up? Go ahead.
If we have a roomie, do we need to sign up together? Sorry.
So yes, that's the easiest way to do it for sure. If one of you is paying, then you could certainly go with a single room and then sign the other person up later, but it's definitely easiest if you can both do it at the same time.
So Jennifer is also asking, how many people do we expect, and are we most romance or spread out between many genres? So did you guys have a place where people could put in what they write on the information form? So as people sign up, we'll have a better idea of what genres everybody is writing in. But when we are in the Facebook group for the cruise, so we have a Facebook group devoted to the cruise and all the information and like talking and information, all the fun stuff. So we can definitely start talking about like genres and what everybody writes there as people sign up. And you can just watch and see how many people are saying I'm in, because it's hopefully lots of people continue to sign up. We don't know what to expect at this point. We just hope lots of people come and join us, because the more the merrier.
Yeah, we had about 30 last time, which was a decent group, but I think we'll get more this time because we're in charge and we're able to promote it a little more than what the other group did. So
Yes. And we have a roomie thread that will be in the group tomorrow. So if you are still somebody who's hoping to find a roommate, then that is something you can communicate with people on our Facebook group there. So this is so much fun, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evening to be here. We will be in touch on the Facebook group for all of you who are not there. So you guys have a great night, and be sure to reach out if you have any other questions.
yeah, if you didn't get your question answered tonight, if you're like, I don't know how to work the chat and you didn't want to go on camera, that's fine. Just drop your question in the Facebook group. I
Yeah.
think we have a link in the chat for it. So, Yeah, and just search the Writing Gals Cruise group for 2026 if you can't figure out how to get to the link.
Paige, did you need something?
Just saying goodbye. You guys are great. This is awesome. Can't
We're so
wait.
excited. Paige came
So
last
excited.
time.
Like, that was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I saw Paige is here and Lisa's here, and I can't see everybody's faces, but we had several people here tonight that came last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brittany is here from last time too.
Oh, hi, Brittany. Yes. So lots of repeat cruisers. So we're excited to see you guys again. And we're excited to meet all of you who come with us this time. And that was what was so fun about this cruise is we just got to know everybody. And it was so much fun to develop those networking friendships and in real life friendships on boat when we ship. Don't call it a boat. I called it, it's a ship. Because we get to be there for, is it 6 days this time?
Yes.
So that's a good long time to get to know people. It's going to be so fun. All right, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.